Yeah, that's good. Good afternoon, everybody. And it's Lilia from Scotland, Scotland's Wild Medicine Festivals. Can you hear me okay, Heather?
Yep, I can. Yep. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Brilliant.
There just seems to be something strange going on with my sound. This happened yesterday, except it was the other way around. Let me just see what's going on. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can still hear you.
All right, okay. That's good. The noise is going. Although, has it? Has it? This is so. I did a live when it had the same problem. Can you hear me now?
Yep, still hear you.
Yes. Right. Okay. Let's go for it. So annoying. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, let's talk about you coming to the festival and what you have kind of quite dramatically changed careers, haven't you?
I have, yes. It's been quite some journey.
So just tell us your story. Start from the beginning. How did you go from being a business consultant to animals?
The bit coming out of business was pretty straightforward. I mean, I've been very lucky. I had a pretty stellar career. Went into business quite late. Just did really well, and I just kept going and going and going, and ended up, running some pretty substantial businesses in Scotland. And then spent about 3 years as a turnaround consultant, like helping other people's businesses. And then, to be honest, I just got bored. I got absolutely bored of the corporate world. I couldn't grow anymore in it. And I wanted to take a year out and solve a couple of problems that are kind of, one that had plagued me most of my adult life, which was emotional eating. I really wanted to get to the bottom of it. Not look at things from another diet, look at what was really going on from a body and kind of connection point of view. And then the other problem that I wanted to solve was the fact that I spent so much of my life helping people who had these incredible businesses but didn't understand money. And through the privilege of the work that I used to do, because I didn't understand money at school or became a young adult, I wanted to help young adults with a financial education. So I was like, I had those two things I wanted to take a year out to solve, and throw into the mix of that needing to get divorced and all that kind of blah that you do in your life. And I went on a book writing course, and to deal with I want to help people with money problem. And there were some beautiful people over in America and Canada, and one of the ladies on the course said, oh, I've had this animal communicator talk to my cats. And at the time, I've been brought up a scientist, an atheist. Anything spiritual was very, very out there and not going that way. But I was sort of like getting involved and very interested in energy, in particular how one person in a leadership position could influence and affect and infect the entire room, either positively or negatively. So I was very interested in energy and like the transmission of emotion between people. Mm-hmm. But the spiritual side, or the kind of, what I call it, sort of slightly more out there side, I only really started to engage with, and these beautiful people in America who are on this book writing course kind of gave me permission to start to talk about these things. Anyway, this lady said, I've had an animal communicator check out my cats, and it was amazing. She told me these things that she couldn't possibly know, couldn't possibly find out. And another friend on the book writing course, that also over in America, said, oh, I'm going to do that for my dog. It's got problems. So he had his dog read by this lady, and this lady lives in Utah. I'm obviously in Scotland. And he reported back that she had told him all sorts of things that she couldn't possibly find out. You couldn't find out on Facebook or Instagram or anything else like that, and helped him with the animal. And my dog at the time was, he was, 14? He had a couple of challenges one was a leg, which I knew about, and one he had this kind of head nodding going on in his face, and the vets couldn't get to the bottom of it. He'd had dental treatment, they couldn't get to the bottom of it. And I thought, you know what have I got to lose? You know, this lady apparently could, check out what your animal, just based on a photo, she could tell you things about your animal. And I was just, well, curiosity kind of got the better of me, but also, you know, there was something fundamental with my dog that the vets and we couldn't get to the bottom of. So I got on this call with this lady. She's called Julie. She was in Utah, I was in Scotland. All she had was a picture of my dog, you know, just when he was out and about, and a picture of me. And she started telling me things that nobody knew except myself and my ex-husband, about his leg, about she started describing to me another animal which, you know, sounded just like my dad's dog. And first of all, I was skeptical, and then as the kind of hour kind of evolved, I started to become more and more tuned in. And then right at the end of the call, she said, "You throw something on the ground for your dog, don't you?" And I was like, "Yes, kibble." And she said, "He can't smell out of his right hand nostril, it's blocked. He's got a problem with his sinus, his right hand sinus, you need to take him to the vets." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I had to take him to the vet anyway because of his leg. And I said to the vet, because we had this head nodding problem, and he was drinking and almost falling over sometimes when he was drinking. And I said to the vets, if his sinus was blocked, I didn't tell them that I'd had this call with this lady in Utah. I said to the vets, I said, if his sinus was blocked, would that cause the head nodding and shaking? And the vet was, well, yeah, possibly, but we'd have to give him an anaesthetic, and then we'd have to take an x-ray. And because it's soft tissue, there's no way we would be able to find out. We probably wouldn't know. And he was 14, and I certainly wasn't going to tell my ex-husband, who was sharing the dog, that I thought he should have an x-ray because some lady in Utah had told me that he had a blocked nose.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. So because of his leg, I had to go to a physiotherapist with him, and she had a thermal imaging camera, and she took a picture of his leg, and I said to her, if he had a blocked sinus, would your thermal imaging camera show it up? And she went, oh yes, click. And there, right in front of me, plain as day, and I'll show it to you at the live event. I have a photo, I still have the photo. There, as plain as day, on the thermal imaging camera was a big blockage in his right hand sinus and pain all down his nose. And I was just like,
I love it.
I was very good at keeping calm. I was like, my eyes were kind of wide open, thinking, oh my goodness me. So anyway, that led to a life-saving operation. The vets got the image. He went for a CT scan at the vet specialist, and the specialist read the CT scan, and they found a cracked tooth root right at the back of his tooth. No normal dental would ever have found that. And he went to Edinburgh Vets to get that treated because they had to have the right equipment. And he lived for another 2.5 years. But on the back of that, I didn't find, Facebook served me up another animal communicator in the UK, a lady called Annette Norbury. And she basically persuaded me that anyone could train in animal telepathy. Anyone could train in it, I could train in it, and I should. So she helped me with my dog Ashka's recovery, and she kind of encouraged me with a couple of experiences to read, which, I'll explain more at the event, the specifics of those. And I went on a course, and I found myself being able to receive thoughts, words, images, sometimes taste, sometimes smells. It's basically the 8 psychic senses that we use. Again, I'll talk about that very specifically at the festival, how we can receive non-verbal information. And everybody does. We all do when we start to talk about it. But the trick is to believe it, recognize it, and translate it into human language without distorting the original message that's coming through. And it's just been fascinating, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster, because everything that you think you are becomes unpicked. You try to talk to people who think that you're weird, and you're weird too. So that whole journey into being able to want to talk about it is challenging. But I have so many fact-based case studies
Sorry, Heather, there's some crackling on the line that I'm not able to hear you properly.
Okay, I'm getting crackling from you a little bit. Where did you get to?
Well, probably a minute previously. I just want to see if it's difficult to know what people are hearing or what. It's so infuriating. Right, can you speak up so that everyone can hear you?
Any joy now?
Keep going.
Okay. I was just saying about, I've lost my place now. Can you hear me if I just keep speaking?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, yeah, there's a bit of crackling when you're speaking to me, actually, so, yeah. I basically have been following this path, reading with other people to verify what you're experiencing can be verified by reading the same animal with somebody else, and then you find that you're both cross-correlating either on something specific or just on an animal's temperament, their behavior, or if they have an issue. And I then decided that the best way to test this was to train other people. So I started training people in animal communication and also in how to activate and develop their kind of extrasensory skills, their psychic skills, as I call them. And I just found this whole thing fascinating, opening people up to trusting their intuition, trusting their ability to read and sense information that's non-verbal, being able to describe it in a verbal way. And it's just life-changing for people. Absolutely fascinating. And some people are better than others. It's, some people are better at reading, some people are better at drawing, some people are better at, access to psychic information. But we all can and we all do.
I'm sorry that the sound is. I really don't know. I can hear you sometimes, and then it's breaking down. It did this yesterday. I had to stop. So listen, I'm really sorry about this, but there's no idea why it's doing this. But so anyway, come to the festival and meet you and hear the story live on Tarbert. Do you actually work one-to-one with people's animals if they've got issues?
I do. I share myself or other people. I don't advertise it. Word of mouth, I will read animals, and I will also recommend other people. So it's quite important that you find somebody that you really resonate with. So there are 2 other people that I would use to read my own animals, and I will recommend them. So I do read, but I don't.
And you still teaching people how to do it?
Yeah, we run courses every so often. We haven't got my friends and I run a course together because we have to have a number of animals that people read. So the best way to learn to read animals is to read animals. And in order to do that, you have to have access to animals that you know really well. So my friend who I trained with originally and I run a course together, and we do 3 or 4 sessions throughout the year. It's about an 8-week course. So yeah, we will train other people.
Great. Listen, I'm sorry about this sound situation, but I'm going to have to just cut it short because it's not, I'm not getting the best information from you and not getting to tell people. So rock up and meet Heather next weekend at Tarbert Festival, and I look forward to meeting you, Heather, and thanks so much.
Likewise, really looking forward to meeting you as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Bye now.